She writes, she heals, and with her words, she nudges you towards healing. Today on Chitter Chatter, we have with us the soulful writer Karishma Chaturvedi. Well, on her latest book, Gambles of Heart, it's a fictional journey, but through this fictional journey, she will nudge you to healing. Let's dive into the world of words, healing, and heart. Let's welcome Karishma on this Chitter Chatter.
Hi,
Hello, welcome to Chitter Chatter.
how are you?
Very well. And we are all excited to talk about your latest book, Gambles of Heart. So tell us all about Gambles of Heart and what it means to you, what inspired you to write this book.
Wow, that's like a big one to start with. So, Gambles of the Heart is it's about this 81-year-old Mansukh who's gambled his entire life away. So, what I wanted to address to this book is the emotional aspect of addiction and whether it is substance addiction or it is actual speculation and gambling. Everything that we do, it's those are just the material aspects of it. There's an emotional reason for this, and it's all about addressing that. Another very important aspect of this book of Gambles of the Heart is um, we always believe that our therapists, our psychologists, our counselors are like godly, like they cannot go through anything, they don't have burnout, they are like holier than thou art and they don't have any backstories. But the whole thing is that every healer out there, especially where emotional wellness and mental health is concerned, they all have backstories and narratives, and they heal better because they have been through it and they understand. Unless they are just preachers, but most of the people are just wounded healers. So that's the entire thing of bringing out gambling as an emotional situation, why and how you gamble, and how you come through this with therapy, with healing, and so yeah, gambles of the
The
heart.
book is quite the book is quite therapeutic. Did your writing also heal a part of you?
Yes, it did. It was definitely a journey that took me in towards myself because I wanted to be very authentic in what I was presenting and not just another self help book or just another fictional story. I wanted it to come from the space of where I was in my own healing journey through the characters.
It's a blend of healing and fictional story. So it is very difficult, especially when you don't want it to look preachy. It's like you literally nudge the audience to heal themselves. You're not like going out there and being like, okay, you need to heal yourself and very preachy about it. So what was your writing process like? Because you needed to maintain that balance.
Yeah. So I'll tell you where this book began. So this book began in 2020, in the month of December. I said, you know what, I want to challenge myself because it was a theme that was uh, literally marinated in my head for over 3 years, but it wasn't coming to the surface. So finally, I said, enough, either do it or don't do it. So I said, 2020, entire December, I'm going to take from 1st December to 31st December, and I'm going to write the first draft. And I'm not going to judge it. I'm just going to write it the way Mansukh and Nidha want to tell the story. Then I sent out the first draft. I had it beta read by about 6 7 reviewers who are friends, and I asked them for absolutely honest opinions, and it was amazing with what feedback I got back. And based on that, I revisited the second draft in 2021 July. Then I rehashed everything, took in perspectives. And then I again let it settle, went in for another round of reviewers, but different people this time, not the, because no one wants to reread it unnecessarily.
Right.
And then the second round was where I got the finer tuning and what they felt was missing, what they felt I could add, and what I could edit out also. So then my third draft came out to be like the finished draft. I approached the publishers and everything. So this entire journey of developing also was a healing and therapeutic because sometimes we believe as writers that whatever we have on page is like, oh my god, I can't let it go. But when you're onto your third draft and you're being told what you need to remove, it teaches you detachment to another level with a lot of honor. So that was like, self editing and all. Then came again working with my publisher, having to go through the edits with the publisher. So I think writing itself teaches you so much about yourself if you're doing it mindfully.
If there is a takeaway that you feel your every reader should walk away with, what would it be?
It is never too late to redeem yourself. You know,
It,
I'm sorry. I wanted to add in one thing out here because I do get a lot of people ask me what made me gamble taking a character who's at 81 and not taking a character that Gen Z or millennials or boomers or whatever we are called would relate to. I took Mansukh as an example because we are always second guessing on whether it is the right time to reform or to redeem ourselves. We feel like it's always too late for a second chance. It's always too late for a new beginning. But if Mansukh could do it at 81, then we can do it at any given age. And that is primarily what I want to bring out by bringing Mansukh to the fore and his openness to want to go through this process.
what readers had to tell you, because your book is doing extremely well, touch wood, and I keep seeing so many reviews. What has touched your heart a lot? I'm sure every review is special, but few comments and compliments that have stayed with you.
I think one that really, really has stayed with me is the one that you gave me when you gave your first review, and you also had DM me a couple of times saying that as you were reading, you're going through shifts in your own consciousness, and you really felt like this was speaking to you. And like you, a lot of the readers felt the same way that um, like I said, I think the biggest thing that people have asked me why Mansukh, and I've always answered it this way. But the compliments that I've got resonate on the same thing, that it is therapy happening on the go, and it is understanding what therapy can do, and it is also saying, okay, the way you have narrated the processes and put them into the narrative also is giving people an opportunity to use these in their own lives. You know, so I just feel like I hit a home run because everyone feels that it is life changing for them, and I just hope many, 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 many more readers take interest in it.
I'm sure they will take interest in it and they will also benefit from it because I myself have benefited from it, so I can vouch for it. Let's get back to, are you a disciplined writer or you're like this writer who suddenly gets thoughts like at midnight and suddenly while walking or playing pickleball? What kind of a writer are you?
I miss you at pickleball, by the way, and I've not been playing, so you better get back to the game. Now, aside from that, I do have a million thoughts. I'm a crazy thinker. I'm not an overthinker. I'm just a thinker. What I do is that ideas that keep repeating itself, I call them the ideas that are marinating in my head. And then what I do is that I keep them aside and I wait for them to mature. Like, remember when we also had our collaborative book? I do not rush into putting it down with you because I let it marinate between you and me, sharing ideas, developing the characters, understanding the characters. Because I feel then when you write now, it has to be like diarrhea, all coming out. It can't be like, let's do it over 3 years. I mean, there are writers who can do that, but I feel in my case, I like to have it so processed in my head that once I'm out there, it's flushing out. And that is the authentic self coming through with the characters and all of that. So that is my process, that I will sit with an idea long enough, and then when I sit down to put it out there, then I discipline myself and I say, like I said with Gambles of the Heart, I gave myself 1 month. And if you remember, even when we collaborated, I said, Shweta, we're going to do this in 1 month, and then after that, whatever second, third draft, we will keep developing. And it just became a back and forth between you and me of that discipline. So I think it's a mix of indiscipline and discipline, exactly where it's needed. But I'm more of an intuitive writer. I don't have a structure on paper. I don't have chapter one is equal to or this plus this. I just have this, okay, here's a chapter, this one I want to put, and then we'll connect it later. So yeah,
Which author has shaped your journey as a writer?
I think almost every, but one closest to my heart is Paulo Coelho, because I think and James Redfield. I think these two authors, because they have been able to bring to light that you can blur the lines between non-fictional self-help and fiction writing and have a potent message coming through your writing that inspires and yet tells a story. So I think these two writers have been very influential in churning out where I want to go as a writer.
Your favorite process of writing? Brainstorming, drafting, editing?
Ah, I think all of it. I say all of it because each one plays its own role. So unless I've brainstormed enough, I can't write. And unless I've written, I can't edit. So I think putting myself through each process and not figuring it out one over the other is being committed to the entire process of writing.
What advice would you give writers out there? Because many times everyone has a story for sure, but they do not either have the courage to write or they don't know where to start. So, what would your advice be for all the aspiring writers out there?
So I faced the same question once, and I met my friend Rishi Vora, who's an author. And I asked him, I said, I have these stories and I don't know where to begin. And he said, wherever you begin is a starting point. So
True.
I would repeat this to everybody. Forget the entire thing of you have to have a backstory, you have to have a forward story. Just start wherever it is and allow the narrative to go with it. And I think today, OTT and the way stories are being told with suddenly you're in the present, then you're going to the future, and then you're going at the back, it's fine. It's fine. You can structure it later if you feel it doesn't work. But start where you believe this is the beginning and then let it flow for itself, is what I would tell every writer out there. And another thing is, write if you can be authentic to your characters. Your characters are parts of you, and let's not deny that. And sometimes your shadow, you can come through your villain, and the light, you can come through your hero. But own them as parts of you and don't shy away from narrating their tales, even if it is parts of you that is being exposed. It is okay. We all camouflage that and say, no, 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 it's not biographical, but it always is.
How do you deal with writer's block?
I just don't write. I play
But then you
pickleball.
have to overcome.
So, see, the thing is that when there's a writer's block, it means that there's an exertion, there's a wall. So, you need to distract that. So, instead of fighting it and mourning it, pick up a hobby, read some books, watch some movie, go for a holiday, play pickleball. You know, I have a discipline of saying every day I want to write for this amount of time, but that is it. I don't try to put 8 hours into writing. Put a few hours, and when the pen says stop, stop. And when you have a block, don't keep calling it a block. Look at how you can break it through distractiveness. Don't, I think people fight the block because they feel insecure, but I don't fight it because I'm not insecure. I know I'm going to catch up because this is not the right time. My mind is not into it. So if right now I try to fight it, I'm going to resist it, and then I'm going to give you crap. So that's how I
Three,
deal with
three things you must have while writing.
coffee if it's in the morning, uh, my spectacles, and good music.
You write best when?
In the morning, from about 11 to 3 is my window for writing.
When my heart breaks, I usually what?
Binge watch
A gamble you will always take.
on myself, my intuitiveness, and the inner voice.
From poem to prose, you've created a unique voice for yourself. How do you juggle?
I follow my heart. I don't allow myself to be limited into a box. And there's versatility and spontaneity to the heart of who I am.
When you're not writing, what is your go to as a healing practice or whatever?
When I'm not writing, art. And now I have found a lot of passion in crocheting. So I love
Yeah,
crochet.
I keep seeing your good stuff.
So yeah, crochet. I think and mahjong is another passion of mine. So I give myself 2 days a week of playing mahjong. So I think curiosity and learning is like something that is so important to me. So I allow myself to go where my heart leads me. You know, yeah, yeah, that's my therapy.
What does your creative zone look like? Are you a chai on the desk writer or a blanket in the corner type of a writer?
I have a desk with a chair. I rarely use it. So, okay, when I'm developing my first draft of a book, it's on the chair at the table to honor that process. But after that, it's on my cushy sofa, facing the window outside, sipping on my coffee and writing.
If your heart had to gamble between love and logic, which one would it bet on and why?
Love,
Why?
because love is what heals my world, and love teaches me even through the pain. It empowers me. We all know that.
If we talk about love, if you could rewrite the ending of a famous love story, which one would it be?
So honestly, I would like to rewrite the ending of Sanam Teri Kasam, though it's not a book, uh, because I just feel that just because it was intercaste and it was taboo, they should have fought on and shown that families can accept each other. You know, the entire thing of them having to sacrifice their life for love, even Kayamat se Kayamat Tak for that matter. Um, though it may have been what was happening, I feel that as storytellers, we should be ahead of our times and pass on a message of acceptance so that we can take the world ahead. So, one is telling stories of the past, but the other one is also giving us a license to be able to guide the society. So, I think, yeah, these are what I would want to rewrite. You don't have to die because you're in love, you can live being in love.
Wow, what a beautiful thought. And on this, if Gambles of Heart had to be adapted, who are the your wish list cast that you would like?
I really have this on me, and I hope they're going to listen to this. I would see Anupam Kher ji as my Mansukh, and especially because you know that movie that he did, Saransh. I feel though he did that movie at the beginning of his career,
Career.
that character is Mansukh, and I really envision him. And for my Nida, I think if someone has come through a lot in life and understands the space of healing books, I would love Sonali Bendre to play my Nida. This is not to say that I'm only limiting. Please, if opportunities do come, I'm open. But my dream would be these two characters, and you playing my Ashna, the granddaughter.
Fingers crossed. I hope the universe listens to this and this idol cast is adapting the book.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what next do we have in line from you? Poetry or prose?
Next in line is actually a fictional non-fiction. It's on midlife. I think we all recognize that there is a huge population of midlifers going through perimenopause, menopause, and even the andropausers, the male andropausers. We only know the symptoms like menstrual cycles waning away, and stuff like that, but we're not addressing it emotionally, and we don't have enough of relatability to it. I have been through it. I know emotionally how it has been. So this entire story is the entire book is actually based on my journey through it with a lot of understanding of how to deal with it from an emotional wellness perspective. We're looking at launching it in about October, November. So that's next. And yeah, that's the next one with a lot more ideas in my head.
All the best for that, and we're looking forward because we're going to read it, we're going to have a lot of chitter chatter on it, and we are super excited for it, just like your other books and even like Gamble of Heart. Before we end, a quick this or that: writing or healing?
Writing, because writing heals.
Rainy day or sunny skies?
Sunshine following a rainy day.
Plot twist or happy ending?
Plot twist with a happy ending.
Paperbacks or Kindle? Oh, this is like
I know, diplomacy at best. But I have to say paperbacks irrespective. But Kindles will do for people who don't want to buy and stock paper.
character you secretly want to rework on.
As in another writer's or mine?
As another writer.
Another writer. I don't think I've come across flawed characters because I've always honored the writer's process. So I don't know who would I want to. No, I don't think I've never read as a critic. I've read as a reader. So yeah, there are books I've not liked, but that aside, I've always honored their space with their character.
And lastly, what would you like to sign off with for our viewers?
Go gamble with your heart, own your space, accept, acknowledge, and progress. You have a choice of becoming. Just be that becoming. And read my book, buy my book, promote my book.
So do read Gambles of Heart and DM Karishma or me. Let us know what you loved about the book and what you loved about the characters. How did it heal you? Did it nudge you in a specific way? We are all ears for you. And it's time to gamble with your heart. Thank you so much for your time for Chitter Chatter and looking forward to many more Chitter Chatters with you.
Thank you so much for having me, Shweta, as always, and love you and take care. And one thing, I just want to say this one thing. I really honor and respect you and your resilience after such a big incident in your life. You didn't allow it to set you back. You came through it, and everyone needs to know that. And maybe you need to write about it. You're a great writer. Write your stories.
Definitely. Looking forward for many more Chitter Chatters and maybe today the writer might just get to typing or writing it. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye.